Okay, so welcome to the live session. Today is September 10th, 2019. If you looked at the video and you're wondering why there was no audio, we were fixing some technical stuff and the audio was muted, but it's good now. You should hear me. Just check everything. It's good. We'll go over USD, yen, and gold at the end, and how great those trades were. But for Euro, if you remember on the daily, we draw this nice channel right here. And since then, on the hourly, we have created a channel. So, yesterday I was thinking Euro was going to push up to this tap at this trend line right here. But since then, it's actually made a series of lower highs and lower lows. So we can get in on this intraday short within this trend line, within this channel right here on the hourly. And for additive confluence, we can also do this. And plot a trend line down. So we have a break of a trend line. All we need, like last time, although we did get stopped out last time right here, we need a close below 110.2080. And if we can get that, we could probably see some downside, which we expected last time when we tried to short from here. But this time we have more confluence since tapping the top of this trend line. And I think tomorrow, or I believe, no, Thursday we have, so Thursday we have ECB and CPI for the dollar. So Thursday is basically going to be a EURUSD fiesta, basically. We're going to see a lot of movement. Who knows if we're going to be in the trade by then and if we get that closure, but that's going to be key. And if we don't get it, that's fine. We also have potential pound USD longs that we're looking at. Right now, the longs aren't really enticing for Euro, is because the highest we can go is right around here, and that's about 80 pips away. But to get a confirm for entry, we need to close above 110.700. So we're not really going to bargain for 30 pips, especially with Thursday being so impactful. So we're going to look for the alternative setup, which can bring more pips and will have a smaller risk reward, and that's the short. So we'll look at that, and the short will align with our gold short as well. Obviously, we need dollar strength for that. Pound. So pound is starting to do what we wanted it to do. We're just gonna have to be patient about it. Actually, it tried to do what we wanted it to do. So 123.730 is still capping it. I was looking at the live earlier. We were squeezing up above here, but I think we snapped back down. So what we want is a close above and creating support and resistance here, and then trade the breakout. But we're staying capped by 123.730. So the dollar is showing some strength right now, and I think Boris Johnson last night is expressing his ultimate desire to leave the EU and get a Brexit deal done. So they're going to be pretty aggressive with that, and who knows how that's going to affect the pound. It's all speculation, and if we zoom in from our previous trend line we drew, we've kind of printed a hammer / indecision candle, depending on how the daily closes. But it's obviously a bearish sentiment for the pound right now. So we would just watch out for the moves in this area right here and trade the breakout. Alternatively, we could get the shorts, but what would need to happen is a significant close below and a retest rejection. So we did have that close below. When we came to the retest, we didn't reject it. We just printed hammers, spinning tops, hammers. What we want is a nice bearish close, nice retrace, and a nice bearish engulfing to go short. And we can kind of short from here to the bottom of this support region. But I was hoping pound maybe last night it would pop back up in this area so we can long it. But we'll be patient. Maybe later today it can get going. And if we're looking at fundamentals for Wednesday, just crude oil inventories and some minor CPI. So, PPI. So, nothing too major. Hopefully by then we have these arrows play out. We can get long. USD yen we talked about, but the mic wasn't running, so I'll talk about it again. This was a setup that was explained pretty much point by point, and then I called the signal. 107.100 was the previous highs that we were capped at, and we had the push during our live yesterday on this candle, and we were waiting for that pullback, on this candle and a rejection. So this was the break, this was the retest, and this candle right here that closed above 107.100 was the rejection, and the next candle, which was a bullish candle, was a confirm, and that's where we entered. Since that move entry, we went as high as 107.496, right around 32 pips, and obviously stops and taking partials was done at 25 pips. And since then, we've come pretty close to our entry, and I won't be surprised if we do. But we can continue going long, but that's where you take partials. We'll just see what happens, where this comes down to. If it retraces to here and goes back long, we can always re-enter, and even if it comes down here and we get that same retest rejection, we can go long. The only time the longs will be cut off is if we close again below 107.100. So 31 pips there. Gold was another 150. Pretty good week so far, and it's only Tuesday. So if I don't even count gold in our pip counts, because if I did, a lot of the weeks would have been 500 pip weeks. But if you don't have capital to trade gold, make sure you save up, because it could bring a lot of returns, and if you trade it properly and you trade it with the technicals, you rarely get burned. And I say rarely because Trump has been tweeting pretty mad recently, so you can't really predict that. But gold was another setup that was explained step by step during yesterday's live. I plotted this level right here by the ray 1503, which we've created hourly support, and we had that nice bearish closure below, and right at this candle was when we were at the live yesterday. And so what we wanted was a push up, which was the retest and a rejection. So we got the retest, the rejection, and then the confirm on this candle, and we had a short entry. It was at 1501, and if we go how deep it went, 1486. So that's a 150 pip move. And since then we've kind of come back, bouncing off 1490, which was a key level in the past, and it's come to fruition again. We might get stopped out at entry, but I only have a small running at this point, so no worries there. We can always get in on the shorts again if we do get the close below 1490. So a nice Tuesday, a nice Monday going into Tuesday. Tuesday is really when we start to enter trades anyways. So we'll be looking at some setups. One in particular was AUDCAD. I think there's a short available, but we'll see. And yeah, it's kind of dropping already, but I'll look for a nice entry. If you look at the overall setup and you look at the educational video on our portal, the one about how to identify support and resistance zones, you'll see that right here is a nice area to draw that zone. And once I plot that zone, it can kind of come clear to you why this is a nice short setup. We have a pretty decent trading range from 0.9400 to 0.89200. So it is AUDCAD, so the pip difference isn't as large as other pairs, but right around a 120 pip range, right? And so we could definitely trade that. I think the ideal entry has passed. Usually the ideal entry was after breaking these wicks down here, but we can look for a retrace. But I don't know, we can still enter because the risk reward will be pretty good if you look at this. And CAD pairs have been great to us. The CAD shorts, NSD CADs, GBP CADs. I think AUDCAD has been nice to us before as well. But a great setup and 3.0 risk reward. You can't really ask for much. So we could actually enter short now. The only thing that's kind of tempting me not to is this horizontal line right here, 0.9128. If you look in the past, we have rebounded from there. So I don't want to walk into a trap, considering we're about 8 pips away from that level, because we can very well come down and then pop back up, and I do not want to have this for us. It's always about finding the great setup and finding the best entry. So what we can do is take a more conservative approach and wait for the price to maybe close below this level, 190, 128, and then go short to these levels down below. But that'd be today's session. Make sure you guys follow us on TradingView, because I post at least one setup a day on there, and so that's usually the setup or signal I call anyways. So if you want the heads up or the actual chart work behind the trades, the trading view, Forex lens, you can follow us there and get the insight. So that's today's session. Sorry for the technical difficulties. At the first part, the live wasn't really going to the server, and then the next part, I had my mic muted because we were testing, and it was chaotic. But we got the live session out of the way, and most of what I wanted to talk about was covered, and this will be processed within the hour or two anyways, so you can watch at your own leisure. So tomorrow will be much more smoother. You won't have these issues. So I'll see you guys again tomorrow at Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern. I'm RP Forex, and I'm logging off. Peace.